Hey, wow, 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 wow. Welcome to Ice Age TV. Ice Age TV? Or is it Chef Age TV? And somebody's not happy that they're not part of the plan tonight. Beaver Boy, Turbo Boy, is locked up in the bathroom because he's out of control. Maybe even I'm out of control because you know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to make a beautiful chili dinner. And I'm going to show you all my secrets on how I make the family a really nice chili dinner. The dogs are going to drive us nutty. Come here, pups. Come here, puppies. So the dogs are going to get us all going nutties as usual. And here it is. Here's my ingredients. I've got more than enough food here. Getting really creative where you can actually have a chili potato. Oh, it's so bad. This is so bad the dogs are destroying it. Hey, wow, 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 wow. It is the Ice Age TV cooking time. Wait a second, Ice Age? I think you got it all backwards. I think it should be called the Chef Age TV. Hey, it's Iceman here, and you know what? I'm going to make a fabulous meal tonight for the family, and I'm getting creative, and Gail from Gail's Food and Stuff has got me so excited about making food that I'm just getting remotivated to do that, and I'm going to do it tonight. Do it tonight on the Chef Age, or is it Gary's Food and Stuff? Hey, Gail there, taking your slogan, huh? Yeah, I sure am. But anyways, here we are. I'm going to make a beautiful chili dinner. Haven't done this in a long time. I really kind of just pulled back from cooking all these meals because I don't need to put any more weight on. But you know what? Oh well, we're going to have some fun tonight. And the fun's going to be me making a really nice chili dinner. And I'm going to share with you all the special ingredients and my techniques that my family just truly loves the way my chili tastes. So stay tuned for the big chili kaboom. Making the chili dinner, what I do is first thing I do is I take this butter, a stick of butter, and I get it all heated up. And when it's heating up, I get these onions, and I take the onions and I dice them all up, and then I throw them in the pan and I let them simmer and get them cooked. And then I take and put my meat in. But before I put my meat in, I put a lot of salt in that meat to really get it some good flavor, savory flavor out of it. And then once the onions are pretty well cooked, I throw the meat in and cook all the meat. So just watch what I do here. I don't have a tripod or anything, but I think you can figure it out as you see me cut things up and heat things up. First thing you can do is cut up the onions first. The onions are chopped. I took 2 onions. I think that's plenty. That'll flavor the meat really well. Getting the butter now all cooked up. Once the butter kind of gets all warmed up in there, I'm going to throw in the onions. Then I'm going to take my meat and I'm going to start seasoning it. And once the onions and the butter kind of look pretty well nicely done, I'll put the meat in. But once the meat is done cooking, I'm going to drain it in this big strainer to get all the extra oils out, to get a little bit drier. And then we'll get it back in the pan, and then I start adding my other ingredients. I've got baked potatoes that I made the other night on the grill that I put in the olive oil and the onions to get a really good flavor. So now tonight you have a choice if you want to have a baked potato with the chili in it. Or you can just decide to have the chili in the bowl, and that will be more than enough. So follow along as I show you how to make a really great chili dinner. And the dogs are back in, the wife must be home. Got the meat now really tenderized. I take my knife and I kind of chopped it all up. You see that? So the salt can really get into it. So I just took my pink sea salt. Really like the pink sea salt. The wife kind of got me turned on to that. So I really salted the hell out of that. Now let's see how the onions are doing. See there, they're cooking really well. That'll clean you out. You start crying if you hang over this thing too long. It really gets a lot of moisture in the air and really nice things. Get out of here, fly. Look at old fly season here. So, yeah, so the meat now is just kind of tenderizing with the salt in it, and it just gets a little bit more cooked looking, which is not too far away. I'm going to throw the meat in, and that'll just be really, really good. And we got the shrimp here. I haven't used up the shrimp. I think I'm going to have that just because I bought it. It's so expensive. It used to be $10. 4 years ago, that was $10. That's a fact. Get away. Nope, get away, Tang. You ain't coming here to eat my good food. So if you look here, I've got the red beans, red kidney beans, and the black beans. And then I've got diced tomatoes. So I'm going to put all this in there when I'm done with getting the meat cooked. It's a lot of material, but usually the family loves this so much, there's never enough chili. So I'm making extra chili, going an extra mile, probably too much, but at the same time, rather have more than less. So I'm going to stir it all up, and I can just kind of see how it's starting to get a little more of that cooked. And what's so cool about these onions being cooked in this meat, it really gives it a really good, tasty flavor. That's why I do it this way. But then once you put the meat in, it really does get oily. You really do need to drain the pan to get rid of so much of that oil so it doesn't get so oily into the taste of the chili. Let that keep on cooking. And I got my Mopar, my Cuda glass with some water in it. How about there, huh? The Cuda, the Mopar, man, is right at the Gold Rush. Just like the Dodge Challenger Gold Rush, doesn't it? Sure does. For any of you who watch my video, I was never some culinary guy. I never went to chef school, never took it in high school. I was never really a cook growing up. As I got older, I just enjoy cooking. And in so many ways, I think I should have been in the restaurant business when I was younger, never knowing what I probably could have done. The whole point is, I just kind of work on the whim. I just kind of get creative on my own. I'm not really following a recipe per se. I know how they're made for different things, but I just kind of get creative on my own, and it seems like the family loves it. That's what seems to work the most. Let's see how the onions are doing. So you're starting to get that little bit of that burnt look to them a little bit. So now we're ready for the meat because I don't want them to get too burned, and we want the flavor of this onions really getting into the meat to help, so don't burn up too much. Get that real kind of like buttery look to it. The meat is in. So what I do now, I just kind of start mixing it up with the onions. And I kind of take a really stiff-ended tool to do all this, and I start flipping the meat and getting the onions out from the bottom and on top of the meat so the meat can start cooking better. That's what I'm doing right now. The window air conditioning units. I put a whole central air conditioning unit in this house. Back in 2005, by 2010 it went kaput. And I'm like, I'm going to spend another $30,000, $40,000 in central AC in this old farmhouse. Very creative system. Very expensive. So, window units work for me. Getting all the meat really kind of broken down, so it's not in clumps. So I'm doing right now. You can see how the oils are coming to the surface here as it's cooking. And I got all the onions all kind of really mixed in with the meat. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this up and let this cook some. And I'll probably turn down the heat a little bit just so I don't start burning the meat. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the tomatoes. Sometimes I do the big tomatoes, and so I'll do like a mixture of the big ones and the small, kind of break it up. Now one thing that I always do when I'm cooking, I always try to stay ahead of the curve, keeping things cleaned up. The worst thing you do is you cooking meals and have so much of your stuff that you use to make it laying everywhere. I just don't like that. So I cleaned that all up. But now here's the next thing. I cooked the meat so it's pretty well cooked because it gets all the oils out of the meat. Because right now I could technically dump this into the strainer over here. And in some ways what I do is I put a pan underneath of it so all the oils don't go down to my septic system and don't harm my sink or my disposal. But anyways, I cook it so it gets really well done so that once again the oils kind of get out of there and you don't have a real oily tasting chili. And I've turned down the heat a little bit more too because it's really just magnified the heat in that. So we get a pan, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here when I dump it. We are making progress. So you see here, look at all the oils that have come to the surface. So now I'm going to really simmer this down, and I'll even take it off here as I now get the cans over here ready to pour in. And what I do, I'll take one can and dump it. In the next can, I'll keep all the juices in it. So there's one can where I'll dump all the juice out of it. And then the next can here, I'll use those juices actually in the meal. Same thing, I'll do one can dump, one can save the juices. Let me open these up and show you. Now I've used these three different cans, dumped them so it's a more dry surface or dry ingredients, and I'm leaving these over here to add on the top. So now I'm going to need two hands, to do this, and I'm going to carry this over here and dump it in my strainer. And if you look, I put a nice pan underneath here to save all the oils from going down my sink and my septic field. Now, this is straining, getting all the oils out. I'll dump this back in, get it back over the stove, and then I'll add these ingredients to it. And then I start adding the cumin. We have the cumin right here, and we have chili powder. May add a little onion, and then we'll get the apple cider vinegar. Whether I do any more black pepper, I don't know yet. Still debating that. Salt is good. Now, if you want a really dry chili, you can just kind of leave it at this right now and not add more ingredients like I am, but I really love all the ingredients. And once again, what I like to do is I like to get the flavors in. I just go a little heavier than probably most people will, but I just really enjoy all the beans, and I just think it gives it that much more flavor. And here are the red beans. So I'm using the liquids out of these, which now to me adds some more flavor to this meal and give it a little bit more juice. And as I stir it in, once I get it all stirred in, then I'll add my cumin, the chili powder, and some apple cider vinegar. It's a real fine line there in apple cider vinegar, because I think if you kind of go a little too heavy, it gets just a little too much. Very fine line there how much you put in. Let the food kind of start coming together before I put any seasoning on. I'm just going to kind of let this get a little bit warmed up again. I've turned up the stove. And do I have any magical number? I just do a gut instinct of how much material to add. So if you're going to start looking at me like how many, teaspoon, this or I just wing it. I'm the wing it man. So now you can see over here, see all the material, which I can just now put that in my garbage and get rid of that. And I'm going to clean up all the cans so we can recycle them. And I do have a garbage, this is a septic system home. They highly recommend you don't be putting oils down in your septic field, and I try to avoid doing that. Good deal. It's really starting to get texturized, a lot of savory flavoring in it. But now comes the cumin time, which I just kind of wing this. Anybody's asking me exactly how much I put in. You don't want to put too much in, but I just like to kind of get a nice coating up top, because this is a lot of material right here. Then I do the chili powder, and we don't really have much left, unfortunately, but I'm just going to kind of empty this container. So that's pretty good right there. And the debate is, oh wait, I got a little bit more here. So let's see if we can get some more out of there. Why is it stuck? But I think I got it. So pretty heavy there, maybe a little too heavy. I don't know. I think a little more seasoning. Now the debate is, do I put a little onion powder on it? And I think I will, because I just really like the onion flavor. And then now it's the apple cider. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this in before I put that in now. Now I'm going to reheat these potatoes. I think the potatoes with that chili will just be really, really great. So, you have the option to have it or don't. But I'm going to heat it back up. And let's see here. These air fryers are pretty cool. I think I'll increase the heat. Like 400. And 15 minutes. I think it'd be probably more than enough, but I'll probably turn it off. But now let's see how this is doing over here as I kind of get the ingredients stirred in. So now I'm going to put this vinegar, the apple cider vinegar here. That gives it a little bit more of a kick of a taste. I probably have to use my other hand. Hold on here. All right, so it's the apple cider vinegar. And like I say, you don't need to put a lot in, because just a little bit goes a long way. That's more than enough, I believe. You can always add more, so be careful on that. It gets a little too vinaigrette, if you know what I mean. Now, there you go. She's really cooking good now. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit, let her simmer for a while. I mean, that's really probably pretty much done. But I've got the potatoes going, keeping things cleaned up. Need to get the shrimp out. And wow, I think it's going to be really, really good. The potatoes have been recooked, heated up. The chili is looking really good. And I'm going to just turn this off now. And then I'm going to cut open the potatoes, put some chili in there, put some chili around the potatoes, and put some cheese, sour cream, and I think that's going to look really good. Put some shrimp around the edges. Let's see how it all plays out. And voila! There it is. Got a little creative. Potatoes may not be your thing, but it's okay. So here is chili with no potatoes. So you have options here. Got some shrimp with this. Got our chips. Got our salsa. I think it's time to go eat. Where is everybody? Where'd everybody go? Make an incredible meal and nobody's even here to eat it? Are you kidding me? I think the wife is here, but the kid, I don't know. I think she's coming home because she's got a fabulous meal. Chili extravaganza with the baked potato and the shrimp and the sour cream and the really good shredded cheese and some really good chips and salsa. I think we're going to be really happy and full to the brim when we're done. What's for dessert? Dessert? Really? Really need dessert? I think we're going to be stuffed as it is. But hey, everybody, thanks for watching Ice Age TV. Or is it Gail's Food and Stuff? Ooh. Or is it the Iceman's Food and Stuff? Or the Ice Age Food and Stuff? It's getting too complicated. Hey, everybody, God bless. Have a great evening. Wow. I didn't even taste this before I took it out to the barn to my eating living quarters. Wow. Incredible. Delicious. Wow. I haven't made my own chili in ages. What have I been missing out on? Good Lord. It's fantastic. Hope everybody enjoys the channel and enjoys the meal I just made. God bless.